ask the question, why are trucks getting so much bigger? Like, did you know the average truck in 1980 was 4 feet smaller on average and 2,000 pounds lighter? Why are we making 4 feet bigger trucks and 2,000 pound heavier trucks? And they're costing an arm and a leg. And did you know out of all the cars we registered in 2024, do you know 75% of everything we registered were trucks and SUVs? What the hell are we doing in America? For the first time ever, September of 2025, the average price of a car in America went to $50,000. Do you wonder why everybody's talking about affordability right now? Because the average guy 18 to 29 years old is saying, I don't know if I can afford to buy a car today. Things used to be cheaper. This is why affordability has become the hottest word in politics today. And no matter how annoying it is, maybe we have to look at data to see if there's anything we can do about this today. If you get value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Stick around till the very end. I may have some notes with everything that we're talking about here. So, affordability. President Trump, a couple days ago, tweets the following. He says, I have just approved tiny cars to be built in America. Manufacturers have long wanted to do this, just like they are so successfully built in other countries. They can be propelled by gasoline, electric, or hybrid. These cars are of the very near future, are inexpensive, safe, fuel efficient, and quite simple, amazing. Start building them now, etc., etc. So, what prompted this conversation? Well, you see these two cars? You see how small these cars are? People look at this car, it's called a K car, okay, from Japan. It's a Honda car, but look how tiny it is. It's a small little car. And this one here, the Fiat Topolino, it's only 8.5 feet wide, 8.5 feet long. Small car. It's only, when you look at the car like this gives you 28 miles top speed, and it's 50 miles it can go, range, when you charge it. So it's good for Italy because roads in Italy are smart. We were just in Italy a month and a half, 2 months ago. We usually get a big Escalade. We got an Escalade and we're going to the town. I'm driving everybody to town. I'm going through the shopping with my Escalade. Me and Vinny are stuck in the middle of a street. We don't even know how to do a U-turn. Vinny has to get on and I have to go like this, like this. It took us 30 minutes to get a space. Italy's built in a complete different way. But they want to bring these small cars in America, and there's a lot of debates going on. Should we do it like the Mini Cooper model, like some of these other stuff? Let me kind of go through some numbers for you so you can kind of see where we're going with this. Now, this tweet comes out after a CNN poll that just came out from Harry Enton, I think it was yesterday. The true approval rating of the president amongst 18 to 29-year-olds on the economy, February, when the president won, a month after inauguration, it was plus 10. Today, it's minus 52. The plus minus, it's 62-point difference in 10 months. People are saying, what is this all about? Trump is saying it's Biden's fault, it's a hoax. Others saying, no, the younger audience is going through this, it's challenging for them. They don't know what to do. So this is leading to the conversation of tiny cars. Now, to kind of give you some numbers on sizes of cars so you can kind of see how this works out. In America, the average small car is between 12 to 13.5 feet. Small car you drive, Ford Focus, 12 to 13.5 feet. Standard passenger cars, 14.5 feet to 15 feet. SUVs, compact, 14.5 to 15.5. Mid-size, 15.5 to 16.5. Full-size, 16.5 to 18. You ready for this? Trucks, 17 to 22 feet. Why the hell do we need a 22-foot car? That's 4 of me putting on top of each other. I even drive one that's probably 20 feet. Just 45 years ago, these guys were 4 feet shorter on average and 2,000 pounds lighter. Why are they making it so much bigger? There's a reason for it. The president is presenting an 11-foot car. Here's the challenge. These automakers are sitting there saying, look, Mr. President, we would love to go do this, but we need to spend billions of dollars and we got a couple different problems. What are the problems? Well, the challenges we're facing is regulation. Okay, we'll fix the regulation federal, but that's not the issue. You can fix the issue because it's federal, you're the president, but then we have a state issue. What do you mean by that? Well, look at California. Newsom decides he wants to do this. And think about I'm building a car that takes a hit. Why would I spend 5, 10, 15, $20 billion putting all these investments into it on the back end I have a risk? Bingo. there's an issue. So what happens? These automakers are willing to spend the billions, but guess what they want to make sure they have? Protection from regulation, and if it's not clear, federal and state, they're not going to do it. And you want newer companies that want to come in to compete to build these tiny cars, and that's a whole different challenge, because many years ago, Mini Cooper, that the only thing they ever built was Mini Cooper, and they were able to meet the emissions numbers that they wanted from the government, but Ford came in and said, listen, I'm never going to be able to compete with Mini Cooper because we build many different types of cars. Mini Cooper only does one. This is not fair, so they lobby, they got things to change for them on their behalf. Anyways, stay with me here to go through the history of it, because this gets a little bit crazier for you when you're looking at all this stuff that we're talking about. So, 2 reasons why this is a conversation that we're having and how we got here. Number one, in 1970, gas prices went from 30 cents to $1 in 1970, that decade. All of a sudden, Reagan is president. Wait a minute, what the hell is going on with gas prices? Average person cannot afford gas prices. That's like today, gas prices are $3. Imagine all of a sudden it goes to $10 a gallon and we have to pay $10 gallons, which is a concern a lot of people have. Reagan established something called the CAFE, which is called Corporate Average Fuel Economy. When he puts this together, he's trying to lean off of oil dependency. Now, the other reason when this happened that we're talking about, the issues with these tiny cars, is the concern. The tinier the cars, the more fatalities. So fatalities is a concern with tinier cars. You drive a small car, they're saying if these cars, the Topolinos, if they get into an accident, some number, it's a ridiculous number, you can fact check this, around a little less than 50% of the time, if this thing hits another car, it's a fatal car accident. So this is not a car you want to be driving that you're going through, somebody else hits you, you're done. It's that small. So regulators back in the days are saying, listen, the reason why we want to avoid having small cars is because this guy hits this guy, he's killed, right? So that's a concern, all right? So then what do we do? What is the resolution here? So this continues with third reason I just wrote here for bonus. It's dumb regulation. What's dumb regulation? In 2002, from 2002 around 2011, 2012, regulators moved from attribute-based to footprint-based standards, which means what? This car right here, okay? If you build a car based on the footprint, the bigger the footprint, the lower the emission standards you have. So guess what? If I'm getting a small car, it better give me 50 miles per gallon or 45 miles a gallon. But if the car is bigger, I don't care if the emission standards it's passing. You know, passenger cars in 2025 will be required to meet much higher standards for fuel economy. Some vehicles of today already meet these standards, while other models will need to adopt fuel-saving technology in order to measure up. Okay, you're forcing cars to get bigger. I know this sounds dumb. I kept asking Connor and Humberto, I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I said, Pat, that's exactly what it means. So if I build a bigger car, regulation is less tighter? Yes. Why? That's how they came up with it. This is why we have wide lanes in America. Yes. Why are we building such big cars? We don't need to build 22-foot cars. Well, that's because of the companies have to follow this footprint. And then President Biden comes out and says what? He comes up with the multi-pollutant standards from 2027 to 2032, and you hear about tightening overall CO2 targets in the state of California. You heard Newsom saying by 2035, I don't know what the number was, 2030, 2035, we want 50% of all cars to be EV. We don't want them to be oil anymore. Automakers are like, what the hell do you want me to do? You're creating it harder for me to create cars. Let me leave your state. The founder of Tesla leaves the state, goes to Austin. Make it easier for me to make some cars and I'll make them. So through dumb regulation, we started building cars that are 4 feet longer for no flipping reason, okay? A part of it why a lot of guys are not for building those small cars is because of fatalities, which by the way, we understand that as well. There's actually a good point to it when you think about it. So this brings us to this number here. 75% of new vehicles being registered in 2024 were what? Trucks and SUVs. Meanwhile, the average car today is what? $50,000 of September of 2025. Go ahead and explain to the average 18 to 29-year-old, let me go buy a $50,000 car. The president is trying to be innovative to say, I think we need to bring small cars. Let me sell the dream, guys. Let's go build small cars. Automakers are coming and saying, we have way too much regulation for us to do it. So this is the battle today of what is taking place. Nearly 30% of car payments today that are being paid are over $1,000 for the first time ever, highest number we've ever had in the history of America. That is insane. So younger, we want them to buy homes, okay? We want them to buy cars. We want them to have kids. We want them to get married, right? We want those events to be taking place. The younger audience is saying, you're building too many big homes. I don't need a 4-bedroom. I need a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom starter. Investors are not building smaller homes due to regulation, prices, and all this stuff. Number 2, I'd like a sports car. I can't afford it. Can you build a more affordable car that's $15,000 that I can buy one, $15,000 to $20,000? And then if you're willing to do that, and the numbers are on my favor, my income's increasing, I don't mind spending some money, getting married, having kids. But until that happens, this is a big concern of mine. So today on the podcast, while we were talking about this, one of the conversations that came about is the following. If you mainly work around a lot of successful, rich people, guess what you don't realize? The pulse of what's going on. The idea of what Turning Point USA was doing earlier on, they have the younger audience. That can kind of tell you what pain they're having. This is a very important season for the president's administration to go get the pulse of the younger audience to see what can be done, and then allow job creators to get innovative, find ways to deregulate, and then let's see what we could do. One of the ideas was to build cars like this that are only built for roads but not highways. So you build it for roads but not highways. In Miami a few years ago, they had these cars that you can rent and you put $1 in, you drive it in, there being a catastrophic situation based on what Adam was talking about. Well, maybe these cars don't go on the freeway. Maybe this is not allowed to go into I-95. Maybe this doesn't go on the 405. Maybe they're just street. And maybe there's a maximum speed it goes to 35, 45 miles an hour. Maybe there's certain things that we do, but it's $15,000 to buy. So there are many creative ways leaving up to the entrepreneur to see what can be done. But this whole tiny car conversation that they're having is much bigger than what people think. It's not like, we're gonna all of a sudden one day decide to do this and it's done with. This is gonna take a minute to get to due to regulation. But anyways, that is the conversation with tiny cars that you're hearing. If you got value out of this video, give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you want to get all the notes and the data that we have, go to PBD Entrepreneur Circle on Connect, download the app, get all the notes for free, join the circle, everybody talks there to each other as well. And if you enjoyed this video, you did not watch the video that we did, why the subprime market in cars is blowing up in America right now, that's a good $250 billion to $320 billion of car loans today in the subprime market are the worst they've been, similar to 2008. If you have not seen that video, click here to watch it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.